In this lecture, we are going to talk about expectation of function of random variable. What do we mean by that? See, we have already pointed out that if x is a random variable, then y equals to g of x is a random variable if g is a function from the support of x to r or from r to r. Okay. So now in this case, as y is a random variable, we can talk about expectation of y. So in this section, we are going to try to find out expectation of y. Definitely one of the way to find out expectation of y is nothing but I can find out what is the probability mass function or probability density function of y, and then once I have probability mass function or density function of y, then I can find out expectation of y equals to for discrete random variable summation of x fx, or for the continuous random variable integration of x fx dx. Obviously, I need to check the existence condition of the expectation. Obviously, this is one of the way to do this one. There is another way which are basically we are going to discuss here, and this way is basic nothing but in that case I do not need to find out what is the probability mass function or probability density function of y, but from the probability mass function or probability density function of x, we will be able to find out what is the expectation of x or what is the expectation of g of x. Okay, what is the expectation of y or what is the expectation of g of x. So that has a benefit. Benefit is basically nothing but I do not need to find out what is the probability mass function or probability density function of y. I can escape this particular steps, and I can directly calculate what is the expectation of y using the probability mass function or probability density function of x. Okay, let us try to understand this thing using some examples. So example, again the same example we have already used. So in this case, x has this probability mass function, and when we take y equals to x square, so g function is x square. We see that this y is a discrete random variable, and the PMF of y is given by this. So once I know the PMF of y, I can find out what is the expectation of x. Sorry, what is the expectation of y? And in this case, expectation of y is nothing but 0 multiplied by 1 by 7, 1 plus 1 multiplied by 2 by 7, plus 4 multiplied by 5 by 14, plus 9 multiplied by 4 by 14. Okay? And if I do this one, I get it is 30 by 7. I do not need to check in this case the existence condition because the support of x is a finite one having 4 points. So expectation has to exist. So this is basically the standard way that comes to our mind first, that well, if I have to find out the expectation of x, I will find out the probability mass function of x, then I will find out what is the expectation of x. Now, you see that the same quantity that this expectation, I can write in this manner, that 0 multiplied by 1 by 7, 0 multiplied by 1 by 7, that can be written as 0 square multiplied by probability of x. You notice that 1 by 7, which was probability y equals to 0, that was probability x equals to 0. So this probability is same as probability x equals to 0, and 0 can be written as 0 square. Then the next one, 1 multiplied by 2 by 7. Remember that 2 by 7 was the sum of the probability that x equals to 1 and x equals to minus 1. So this term, this 1 multiplied by 2 by 7, this part I can write as 1 square multiplied by probability x equals to 1 plus minus 1 square into probability that x equals to minus 1. Okay. Similarly, x equals to this part, that 4 multiplied by 5 by 4, that I can write as 2 square multiplied by probability x equals to 2 plus minus 2 square multiplied by probability x equals to minus 2. And finally, this part is nothing but 3 square multiplied by probability x equals to 3. Notice that this probability x equals to 9 is actually equals to the probability x equals to 3, because x equals to minus 3 has probability 0. So what does this mean? This means the expectation of x in this particular case, at least I can write x square probability that x equals to x. So this is in general summation g of x. This x square is g of x. So g of x into probability that x equals to x. So what does this mean? This means that when I try to find out expectation of x, which is basically expectation of x squared, the expectation of y, I'm sorry, I try to find out expectation of y, which is expectation of x squared, and this is same as summation of expected value of expectation of x, value of x squared multiplied by the corresponding probability. Okay, so this is summation x squared multiplied by the probability that x equals to x. So that means that if this happens everywhere, you see this part, for writing this one, I do not need the probability mass function of y. I only need the probability mass function of x. So using the probability mass function of x, I will be able to write the expectation of some function of x. And that is the benefit of writing this one. I do not need to find out what is the probability mass function of y. Okay. So whatever we discussed, that is summarized in this theorem 2.9. So 2.9 says that if x is a discrete random variable with PNF fx and support sx, and if g is a function from R to R, or in particular I can take a function g from the support of x sx to R, then if I try to find out expectation of g of x, this is nothing but summation g of x fx, and I need to existent condition, and now the existent conditions become mod of gx f of x less than infinity. And the proof of this one is fairly simple. The thing is that, well, expectation of y is summation over the support of y into probability mass function of y. Probability mass function of y can be written in this form. This is the theorem 2.7, and then you just write everything together, you get the expression. So the proof is exactly what we did here. Why we did here, that is written in general form here. That is the proof. But the main take from here is that to calculate expectation of g of x, I do not need to find out what is the probability mass function of g of x, but I can use the probability mass function of x, and I can find out what is the expectation of g of x. Obviously, I need to check this condition, whether this condition is true or false. If this condition is true, that this sum is less than infinity, then the expectation exists. If this sum is equals to infinity, then this expectation does not exist. Similar thing happens with the continuous random variable. If x is a continuous random variable with PDF f, then to find out expectation of g of x, I can write is integration from minus infinity to infinity, g of x, density function of x dx, provided this integration is finite. Again, if this integration is finite, we say this expectation exists, and this expectation is equals, the value of the expectation is equals to this integration. If this quantity is infinite, then we say that this expectation does not exist. Okay, so the theorem essentially is same, that for the discrete it is summation, for continuous it is integration. One point I should mention here, note that in this case I do not need the condition that this g of x is a continuous random variable or g of x is a discrete random variable. Even g of x can be any random variable which is not discrete, not continuous. Even for all those cases, if x is continuous, I can find out expectation of gx using this formula. It does not matter what kind of random variable g of x is. Okay, this is obviously one of the very plus point of the theorem 2.10. Okay, so let us take some of the examples. So the example 2.38 is continuation of the example 2.32. In the 2.32, what we did, we basically have a random variable x which was uniform 0, 1, and we try to find out what is the expectation of y equals to log of x. In 2.32, we basically try to find out what is the distribution of y, which is minus log x, but now we are trying to find out what is the expectation of y, which is expectation of minus log of x. Okay, so to do this one, as x is a continuous random variable, first I need to check whether this condition is true or false, which is basically nothing but integration minus infinity to plus infinity. G function is basically minus log x, so mod of minus log x, density function of x dx, And now for uniform 0, 1, the density function is strictly greater than 0 only in the interval 0 to infinity. So clearly the condition I need to check is nothing but 0 to 1 mod of minus log x dx, because density function on the interval 0 and 1 is 1. So that is basically not, only on the 0 to infinity. So this integration turns out to be this. Now between 0 to 1, log x takes negative value. So that basically means that log x is same as mod of minus log x is same as minus of minus log x, which turns out to be log of x. So it is basically this negative sign will not be there. This is my mistake. This negative sign will not be there, and I have this quantity same as 0 to 1 log x dx, and so we need to check whether integration 0 to 1 log x fx dx, whether this quantity exists or not. And to do this one, notice that we have problem at the point 0, near the point 0. So we just write it epsilon to 1, take the integration, and when we take epsilon drops to 0, this thing goes into convergence into minus 1. So we are good. So we have to take this quantity, and so this one is basically exists. This integration exists, and so I can have the expectation. Expectation turns out to be this quantity, and this is equals to 1. I am sorry, will this negative sign be there? I feel that log x is negative, so this one is positive. Okay, I'm sorry, this negative sign will be there. This is perfectly fine. So negative sign will be there because minus log x is positive in the interval 0 to 1. So when I take the mod, it will remain minus log x. Yeah, negative sign will be there, and so basically we show that this integration is finite, and if this integration is finite, the expectation exists, and the expectation of y is nothing but this integration, which turns out to be 1. Okay, so in this case the expectation of y exists, and on the other hand you can cross check this one that we have pointed out that y has a exponential distribution with parameter 1. So clearly from the exponential distribution also you can check that the expectation of y is nothing but 1. So the same result we are getting in both the cases, but obviously the plus point of using this one, I do not need to find out what is the probability density function of y. Okay, next example is basically continuation of another example 2.31, where we have that x follows exponential 1, and we are talking about y, which is box of x, and we have pointed out already that box of x is a discrete random variable. Again, the beauty of the theorem is that where it does not matter what kind of random variable y is. I basically, to find out the expectation of y, I basically need to do this integration, that integration box of x times density function of x dx, and integration from minus infinity to plus infinity. Now, as the density function of x is negative on the 0 on the negative part of the real line, so that basically boils down to 0 to infinity mod of box of x e to the power minus x dx. So if this integration is finite, I am fine, and you can check very easily that this integration is finite. And once this integration is finite, the expectation can be found, and the expectation is basically this integration, and you can easily check that this turns out to be this one. This integration turns out to be this one. So in this case, the expectation of box of x is basically this quantity. Okay, clear? So that means these theorems have some advantage. Obviously, one of the advantages is we do not need to find out the PMF or PDF of y, and the second step of advantage, especially when x is continuous, I do not need to check what kind of random variable is g of x is. I can use the theorem directly as long as x is continuous, and I can find out expectation of g of x irrespective of what kind of random variable g of x is. Okay, so with that I stop here. In the next lecture we will see some of the property of the expectation.